feel the heat coming off the fire.
A second explosion rocks Westminster, damaging homes and forcing several more to evacuate.
I came outside and the whole side of the building was blown off.
Contact Denver 7 finds people crossing the line at a Commerce City intersection.
People need to obey the speed limit, and we don't have enough cops, period.
Plus, light snow and harsh cold continue across Colorado.
And lawmakers say Colorado needs to wise up about artificial intelligence.
And it's a very high error rate for people of color.
Westminster firefighters are working their second explosion in 2 days this evening.
Now, this latest one happened at the Stratus Townhomes on Sheridan Boulevard, less than 2 miles from the site of yesterday's blast. Now, there is nothing to indicate at this hour that there's any connection.
Denver 7's BAYAN Wang joins us from the scene now. And BAYAN, only minor injuries to report, thankfully, but several units have been destroyed and a lot of people had to evacuate.
Yeah, hey, Shannon, and that is exactly right. And actually, we're learning new information right now from the Westminster Police Department. They have confirmed that the apartment complex hired a construction company to come and work inside of these units to work on installing furnaces and new water heaters, and nothing has been officially confirmed as to the cause, but they did confirm that this is a big part of their investigation at the moment. But let me step out of the way so you can kind of see what the scene looks like now. Things have certainly calmed down a bit. You see fire crews are still hitting hot spots from above, and the efforts now are just to make sure that nothing reignites here. But let's go ahead and pull up some video from earlier, and just to rewind for a moment, Westminster officials got the call at about 1:30 p.m. Residents reported that an explosion occurred at one of the unit buildings and that flames were large and visible. It caused quite the commotion in the area, residents grabbing their pets and children and evacuating their homes. Let's go ahead and listen to one of the younger residents here recount the moment residents heard a large boom.
It was craziness, man. Everybody running around, little old ladies and stuff like that. We grabbing them, trying to move them out the way, dogs all over the place, and it was pandemonium.
Everything was just coming straight at us. It was really intense.
And as you guys mentioned at the top of the show, many residents in the nearby area were evacuated from their units just as a precaution. Since then, a lot of those residents have been allowed to return to their homes, but there's still a group who haven't gotten the green light just yet because carbon monoxide levels are still an issue here. And fire crews are going to be working on this until everybody is safe to return. Back to you guys.
Boy, and it is so cold out there. That's tough on everyone. Thank you, BAYAN. An endangered missing persons alert has been activated for this 65-year-old man who has cognitive impairment. The VA tells us Cameron Thorne was last seen Sunday afternoon on Eagle Street in Aurora, and it is unclear why his disappearance is just now being reported. So anyone with information, please call 911.
A man and woman found dead in a Franktown home earlier this month were shot to death. An employer found the bodies of Brian Todd Gray and Jessica Mitchell February 8th. A friend told investigators she immediately thought Mitchell's brother Casey Duvall was responsible. Surveillance cameras later captured Duvall carrying multiple handguns and what an affidavit describes as a long gun. Duvall was later arrested in Kansas.
Former Douglas County Superintendent Corey Wise has been hired by Jeffco Schools. Wise will serve as a community superintendent. He recently retained high-profile legal counsel and appears to be gearing up to sue Dougco Schools for wrongful termination. Denver will no longer require city employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19. The mandate had been in effect since the fall and will be lifted in early March. The city says it can't allow the requirement to expire because of low transmission rates. Nearly 99% of city workers either got vaccinated or received an exemption, and the rest were fired.
A lawsuit aimed at preventing the old Park Hill golf course from being developed as anything other than open space has been dismissed. A judge ruled that the group pursuing the case lacked the necessary legal standing. The city of Denver has several ideas on what to do with the now defunct golf course, the most popular of which is turning it into a park. A grocery store or affordable housing also has been considered.
Boy, we have shoveled more snow than this, but we have rarely been so cold doing it.
No kidding. The low hit a record 7 below this morning in Denver, and there's more cold and more snow in our immediate future.
Oh, yay. Here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson tracking it all for us. Mike?
First of all, Shannon and Ann, thank you for breaking that news so I didn't have to about the record low this morning. We did manage to get to 14 above for the high today, so that's a little progress. Currently we're at 8. It's still milder out to the west where they've had more snow falling with this particular storm system. Big story in the eastern plains, once again, the wind. You throw that in along with those cold temperatures, it's below zero on exposed skin. 13 below at Akron, 18 below up at Sterling, 6 below in the Denver area. Needless to say, the wind chill advisory continues through tonight into tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, out west, it's the winter storm warnings and the winter weather advisories. They'll pick up another 4 to 8 inches of snow in the mountains for tonight. And we're going to get a little band of snow coming in here, too. Look at this in Boulder County and in Larimer County. I'm going to show you what happens over the next 12 hours. That's going to start to push its way across the Front Range and bring us a couple of inches of snow possible overnight into tomorrow morning. Already seeing a few flurries developing in Boulder. They'll move across the I-25 corridor.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well, Contact Denver 7's hearing a number of complaints about a stretch of road in Commerce City.
People can't seem to stay in their lanes. They also tend to veer out of them at a high speed.
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne drove out to 96th Avenue to see the problem himself.
Several videos sent to Contact Denver 7 highlight the problem. This one shows a driver crossing over a double yellow and then braking hard after illegally passing. This one shows a driver passing on the right, which is a turn lane only.
People getting impatient and speeding and swerving into the oncoming traffic to get around people.
Here's yet another, someone passing on the right in a turn lane.
They're passing in turning lanes, passing on double yellows.
It's just kind of scary thinking about, like, okay, what if someone's coming because there are hills over there and you can't necessarily see over the hills.
Endangers people.
Those who live here say Commerce City recently raised the speed limit from 30 to 40 miles per hour. But that simply appears to have given drivers the green light to drive faster.
Especially semis late at night. They don't want to obey the speed limit. Around here, not many cops out here with the traffic stops to pull them over.
Here's another, someone crossing over the double yellow to pass. The Colorado State Patrol did review all those videos and contacted the registered vehicle owners. However, they did not issue citations because they couldn't identify the drivers. They did issue warnings about the incidents. Commerce City Police tell us they're looking into it.
They've had like signs with the flashing lights to warn people about that, but most people don't listen to that because they know there isn't law enforcement around to really enforce it.
What neighbors would like to see: speed traps all up and down 96th Avenue at all times of day.
Like to see more law enforcement
in Commerce City.
People need to obey the speed limit, and we don't have enough cops, period.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh was at Metro State University to announce a $113 million national jobs incentive today. The money would be used to fund grants for apprenticeship programs. Walsh told Denver 7 companies have already bought into the program, and he feels confident it will help bring in a new wave of workers.
And the young people that I met today, just really blown away by their knowledge. If you didn't know they were high school students, you would think that they were professionals working in these different companies that with the language and what they already knew, what they already learned, and what they continue to learn on the job.
Colorado is especially popular with the White House this week. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will meet with Governor Polis for an event near Idaho Springs. Buttigieg will be singing the praises of the Biden administration's infrastructure plan as it relates to traffic at I-70 of Floyd Hill, and he will tour Glenwood Canyon the following day.
Many of us regularly use facial recognition software. Lawmakers think that's reason enough to consider if we're using it well. Here is Denver 7 political reporter Megan Lopez.
Facial recognition software can be used in a lot of ways to tell a lot of different information about a person without you being aware or even knowing that, or giving permission. I'm sorry, here we go, 3, 2. Facial recognition software can tell a lot about a person without you being aware that it's running on you or even giving permission. It uses an algorithm to first detect a face, then map it out and analyze it, and then uses it to connect to the data of a person. Now, it can be used for things as simple as unlocking a phone to things as complicated as criminal investigations. But some Colorado lawmakers want to put some guardrails around its use.
The technology is all around us. In our cameras, our airports, our banking, even some schools. Facial recognition software.
We're getting better in recognizing things.
It's a powerful piece of technology that's becoming more prevalent.
They don't even know humans exist, right? Your data points to them.
But some have accused this biometric data of bias.
But when it came to detecting my face, it didn't do so well.
A 2018 MIT study found facial recognition technology has a 34% error rate in identifying darker-skinned women. Kirsten Herring from DU says the problem is on two fronts.
We have an underrepresentation problem in who is coding these algorithms, and we have a lack of the proper AI learning technology to unbiased data.
There's also privacy concerns.
You can imagine the problems with sort of false identification.
Senator Chris Hansen is now bringing the idea to the state legislature. Hansen's bill calls for a task force to be created to study the use of artificial intelligence by public agencies. It would also bar law enforcement from using the software without probable cause first and prohibit it from being used in schools.
This bill is not about prohibition. It's really about carefully considering the use and making sure we're getting the right results and have the human review.
The committee will come back to order.
In a committee hearing Wednesday, critics of the bill said the technology is needed.
There's no justification for the ban on use in schools. This could prohibit some potentially life-saving security applications.
If it passes the legislature, Colorado could be one of the first states to start putting serious guardrails on the technology. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
Coming up, Colorado vets invest and inspire.
It's rewarding to serve, right?
Still plenty of advisories for tonight, but we have some 60s coming up in the 7-day forecast.
And we're in Fort Collins for a crucial edition of Border War basketball.